Surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson, or give a bride the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her wedding day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your time.
Welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring.
Let's do this.
Hello, welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring. My name is Reese. This is Jesse. Small talk.
Can you do that more, like as depressing as possible sounding? Do it again. Just sounds like you're taking a dump.
Welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring. I'm dead on the inside. How was that?
Jesus Christ. It's like you've got practice.
I'm fine on the inside. If you cut me open, it'd say fine.
Really
All the way
doctors,
through me,
yeah.
like a stick of rock. Do you have stick of rock here? Do you know what a stick of rock is?
Is that a rock taped to a stick?
No, it's like you would call it candy. I would call it sweets. It's like a hard candy sweet that is like a long, thin kind of tube. And you buy it at the seaside or fun fairs and fun places, and you chew it and bite it, and it'll say like, I don't know, Margate, which is a seaside resort, and it says it all the way through. It's like printed through a stick of rock.
Wow.
It's a British
I've
thing.
never heard of this in my life.
And then what happens is you hold it and you're eating it, and your hands get sticky, and like bits of fluff stick to your face, and it's great, and you lose your teeth.
Wow.
It's great. Stick of rock.
Okay, I feel like I should share like a Canadian thing with you. This is a Newfoundland. This is a Newfoundland delicacy. Have you heard of a towton?
Towton?
Towton.
No, I don't know what a towton is.
Towton is it's very much Newfoundland. My friend Ryan and I went to St. John's a few years back, and we had it.
A towton.
A towton. So
I'm trying to visualize what a towton could be.
yeah, what do you think? What do you think a towton is? I'll give you a hint. It is a sweet treat.
Oh, I was going to say it was a small mammal. A small mammal dipped in caramel.
A towton is fried dough. I think sometimes with powdered sugar, sometimes not. It's fried dough with drizzled in molasses.
Nice.
And it's delicious. It's absolutely fucking delicious. It's very simple, and it's really fucking good. And
That sounds
it's
very cool.
Newfoundland-esque for whatever. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where the name comes from. But there you go.
Just small talk doesn't feel small. It feels important. Cultural exchange.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you're a Canadian, you never had a stick of rock, I recommend flying to the UK just to have a stick of rock.
And if you've never had a towton, fly to Newfoundland and ask for a towton.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. When I go
You're
back,
routing for a towton.
when I eventually go back to the UK, when they let me back to visit,
When they let you back?
I'll bring you a stick of rock.
Okay. Oh, I suppose they've closed the borders right now, haven't
No,
they?
you can actually go. It's
Oh,
just-
really? Okay.
I like to
Just why
imagine.
the
I like to
fuck would you?
imagine I was exiled for being too awesome.
Yep. That's what happened.
Yeah. So, are you excited about this episode? Are you excited the election is so close?
No. You know me.
The-
I don't care.
It's funny, the polls have swung back. Justin Trudeau is doing well again, and the Conservatives slipped back. Apparently, they reckon that once everyone finished just enjoying the summer and not thinking about politics, and they actually started to pay attention.
I looked at the polls recently, just out of curiosity, and this was like a few days ago when the Liberals and the PCs, the Conservatives, were pretty much neck and neck, which is, I mean, like, to be fair, before the election, it's just a poll of like people who
Yeah.
are already kind of registered to vote. Or again, maybe not registered to vote. I don't know what it is. People who are, you know, I don't know. I don't know how fucking polls work. And I like the NDP. If I was going to vote in general, it would be NDP. But the NDP never fucking wins. Right?
Yeah, but
And so I thought I had to vote. What's the word I'm looking for? I was told I'm saying this wrong. I thought I had to vote. There's a term for it.
Strategically?
Strategic voting. I thought I had to vote Liberal so that the PCs wouldn't get into power. And then my buddy Howie, hi Howie, say hi Howie Reese.
Hi, Howie.
There you go. He told me that that's not how it works in Canada, and you can't actually strategically vote prime ministers in. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And he tried to explain it to me, and I just couldn't get it because I'm too thick.
I guess it's like if the two main parties in, say, your MP is Liberal and the competitor is Conservative, and it's like a few percentage points between them, and you decide to vote NDP, it shrinks the Liberal. That's the idea of strategic voting. You stay voting Liberal because you don't want the Liberal Party to lose votes. You want them to beat the Conservatives. But like that, my understanding from a lot of people is they don't want to fall back on that anymore. They don't see that as, and the Liberals have relied on it a lot. From things I've read, that they use that as a scare tactic to stop people voting NDP. Or it could just be an excuse from the NDP because they don't get the votes they want. They could go, well, more people would vote for us if they weren't afraid of voting for the Liberals. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to read everyone's mind simultaneously. I've tried.
How'd that go?
Badly. I can barely read my own mind. So.
All right, so what's this episode about, Reese?
So this is our last episode, and I think it kind of
This is our last episode
before the election. The election will be tomorrow, and you have to go and vote. And this is Sunday. You will be voting tomorrow, and then you'll be tuning into our live stream. It's just as important as voting.
Definitely tune into our live
Exercise
stream.
your democratic right and tune into our live stream. It's been done for centuries in Canada. You should do it.
We're gonna have. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have about between 3 and 7 viewers who are gonna come to watch us live. One of them is gonna be my mom, and we're gonna be demonstrating various products that companies have reached out to us.
Hopefully,
yeah. And we still got time.
Something if a miracle happens tomorrow and you deliver something, that'd be great.
I'm gonna be extremely caffeinated, and Reese is gonna tell me. So hold on, you have to convince me who to like to make up my. Well, I guess I already. So like, okay, you know what? You said you were going to convince me to vote. I'm already convinced to vote, but I'm not happy with it. We've talked about that a bunch. I'm going to vote out of guilt and obligation, not out of because I think it's the right thing to do or because I think it's going to have any impact whatsoever.
But that doesn't make your vote like 50% of a vote. It's still a vote.
Yeah, right. But whatever.
But you're voting in an informed way. We've talked about a lot of stuff. So when you vote now, you have way more information than you would have had before.
But like I still don't know who to vote for. And nor do I the only thing I know this is if I'm gonna be voting emotionally, this is me. And I'm not telling I just don't want the PCs in power. The PCs are in power. The Progressive Conservatives are in power in Nova Scotia. Amazingly, they're doing a really good job so far of like pissing off the right wing people who voted them in by
doing nothing to attract everybody else.
Yeah, but they're just it's kind of amazing. Like they're kind of okay. Nova Scotia is so backwards. The Liberals act like Conservatives, and the Conservatives act like Liberals. It's weird, man. Only in Nova Scotia. Okay, like they're doing a really good job with the pandemic. As soon as they get voted in, it's weird. Okay, but as far as the country's concerned, last time we had the Conservatives in power, they just shit all over this country. My God, Harper was just a monster. And I'm really kind of scared that the Conservatives are going to get into power in the country again. And so I don't really have a preference for who I want in. I guess NDP would be really cool. I don't see that happening. I guess I could vote Liberal just to kind of give them a boost up. My only real directive is to make sure the PCs don't get into power. And that, I feel, is a really shitty reason to vote.
No, because...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but...
I should be voting who I want in, not voting to make sure someone doesn't get in.
If you want the NDP and vote for the NDP.
They're not going to get in.
That shouldn't be... If everybody had that attitude, then they'll never get in. Do you realize the paradox? You're trapped in your own paradox. You don't want to vote for them because you don't think they'll get in. Therefore, they will never get in because no one will vote for them. You could just vote for them. Or don't.
And there's something about ridings. I don't understand ridings. Can you explain that to me?
So it's like everyone in that riding.
I don't fully understand how our system works.
So it's a parliamentary system.
Okay.
So you have a certain number of seats in a room, and whoever gets the most seats in that room gets to form a government.
Okay.
At the moment, the main party, the Liberals, don't have enough seats to have a majority. So
Meaning they don't have more than 50% of the seats.
Yes, so they're a minority government and they rely on other parties supporting them to pass legislation to get it voted through. So if they want to introduce a new law or a new...
So if they want to... Let me get this straight. So if you are a majority or a minority, if you want to pass a law, you need, I'm assuming, more than 50% of the people in that room to agree to this law change.
Yes.
And if you have a majority government, that means that your government has more than 50% of the seats, which means that you can just pass whatever the fuck you want.
As long as your own party likes you.
As long as your own party likes you and your own party kind of all agrees with these laws that you want to change.
Because that party selects the leader as well. So with it, once you've elected that party, those people in those seats also get to choose who's in charge. Or not necessarily them, even just people who are members of that party.
So if you have a minority government, say you have 30% of the seats, and the rest of the seats are made up from the different parties out there, and you want to pass a law, you have to convince these other parties that your law is a good idea and to get on board with this so that you can get more than 50% of the seats on board to change this law. That's
roughly what's been happening for the last 2 years.
So even if I wanted to vote NDP, knowing damn well NDP are not going to run this country, I could give them more seats to help push for or against laws that are trying to be...
Which is what they did, which is what they've been doing. So there was...
Is that why you should vote for who you want to vote for, regardless of whether or not you should run the country?
You should vote.
But is that why?
Yeah, I think you probably should, because you want to vote for someone you agree with. You shouldn't... I understand strategic voting, and I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't understand strategic. Apparently, I was told I can't do it. Like it's not possible.
Well, I imagine it depends on the situation in the riding that you're in. So the riding is essentially the zone where all those people get to choose who fills in their seat.
Okay.
So you go to Toronto.
Can you give an example?
Halifax West.
Okay.
We're currently sat in the riding of Halifax West. Everyone who lives in Halifax West can now vote, and our representative will go and fill in one seat in that room of people.
Explain that in
even simpler terms, than a room full of chairs.
No, I mean the whole riding thing. I'm still not fully getting the whole riding thing. It's just a zone. It's a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood. Okay.
It's a geographical area,
and that geographical area will have the power of one seat.
Yes. So you're choosing your representative for this zone, and that zone is zoned by Elections Canada based on data that kind of tries to give it a rough estimate of people, and kind of is complicated. There's like formulas they use to work them out, but I don't fully understand it myself.
So, okay, right. So
you choose.
So if the people in our riding, okay, no, I think I'm getting this. Okay.
So, but when people talk about strategic voting, what they're saying is, this is a liberal area where we live.
I get made fun of a lot for not understanding how our political system works. But if people keep making fun of people for not understanding how something works, that's not a great...
You're going to go, fuck you, I don't care about
exactly.
your system. Yeah, exactly. You're going to go, why is not a good way of spreading education about it to be dismissive. You just go, oh, cool, yeah, it is a bit weird. I'll explain it to you. And you just...
Yeah.
So it essentially...
now, granted, the fact that I have a popular political podcast and don't understand politics is kind of funny.
I think is what makes our show tick. It's what makes it go along.
Oh, I'll agree with that.
But I think that honestly, and it's different from the US system, because obviously you vote for this candidate or this candidate. Maybe there's a third person that nobody really pays attention to. So you get a linear choice between a Democrat and a Republican.
Right.
And that's how you choose your leader. Here, it's different. The leader is selected from the team of people who've got the most chairs in that room.
So here's another question for you. Since this is like the day before the election, I'm going to have all my questions about how our fucking system works out to you. Here you go. I know this is probably not what you wanted this episode to be about.
No, it's fine. We can still cover the topic.
We'll get to that. I've heard this from my friend Ryan a bunch.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
I don't know you.
He doesn't listen. He doesn't give a shit.
More an idiot. You should listen to our show.
We can say whatever we want about Ryan. He's not going to hear it.
Don't know. He might beat me up.
He probably could. So I've been told that the Liberal Party of Canada is very centralist instead of left. It's more central than it is left.
Well, put it this way. People on the right call them communists. People on the left call them fascist. Oh, not fascist. They call them right-wing.
Right. So, but I've been told that they're in realism, they're more centralist than anything.
Yeah, they kind of, I think they're consistently centralist in their policies.
And I think centralism is, if that's even a term, centralism. How's my audio? It sounds echoey.
It's fine.
Is it reverby? It sounds reverby.
It's fine. Just make your point.
You'd say anything's fine. I could be standing in the
I say
corner of the
fine
room.
all the way through the middle. It's fine.
I know.
Like a stick of rock, as we learned.
So I think centralism is a good idea because, like I was saying before, even if you disagree with an idea, we can't just be dismissive about the idea and hope that it goes away. Kind of like Trump supporters. Just because Trump's no longer in office doesn't mean that Trump supporters are now gone. They're still out there and they still have these ideas, and that's kind of terrifying to me, but that's a different topic altogether. So centralism at least addresses the ideas of the right and tries to appeal to the people of the right as well as the left. I'm like, that sounds like trying to get both people to hold hands, which is, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not how it works at all.
I guess,
is that not how it works? I could be like, this is me trying to understand it, right?
I'm one of those people who I use the terms left wing and right wing all the time, but I don't necessarily I think the parties like to imagine that there's this choice, left, right, middle, whatever.
Right.
But I think people are way more complicated than that. So you might
of course they are.
I think you'll get people who are socially very liberal and accepting of all different kinds of people, but very fiscally conservative, where they don't want the government spending lots of money on vanity projects and things.
I agree with that.
It
does become dangerous when we start labeling others and labeling ourselves in an emotional sort of way.
Yeah, exactly.
That is dangerous. Yeah, because if you believe in something that the conservatives are touting and believe in other stuff that the liberals are, and believe in even more stuff that the NDP, what are you?
People are smart. They're not tribal in the sense they align themselves. Like some people do align themselves with parties, but some people will go, well, do you know what? Last time I voted for those people, but this time I think we need to take the country in this direction. I think as much as I don't like them, I think they're more likely to do it, and therefore I'm going to vote for them in this. And I think that that's people making the decision. They're hedging their bets. They're going to go, I care about this issue and this issue right now. Mm-hmm. It's not so much of an issue as it was, or this is a future issue that no one's talking about apart from this party. It's people. I think people care about issues.
The people care about issues, and that's the problem. Is people care about issues, and we are taking those issues and we are applying them to people. And then we are applying hero and villain status to those people.
Yeah.
And that is hugely fucking problematic. Hugely problematic. Because then we're no longer talking about issues. We're talking about heroes and villains.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's at the core of what is wrong with our political system. Okay. Is we're not talking about ideas.
Yeah, and when you actually look at it,
we're talking about how shit Justin Trudeau is, how shit Maxime Bernier is, how shit, it doesn't matter. We're talking about fucking people, and people are throwing rocks and showing, it pisses me off. Anyway, I'm digressing. We're digressing. I am scared of the PCs. I'm scared of the progressive conservatives, and maybe I am misinformed, and I often am. Okay. But from what I understand, the progressive conservatives have, and what I've been taught, is that all they care about is the economy. All they care about is jobs. And that's their number one platform, and always has been for decades. And the economy is important and jobs are important, but they treat it like it's literally the only important thing. And I've mentioned this on our show before, literally the only fucking important thing. Nothing else matters as long as we get this economy. And I've been taught by a friend of mine, Ryan, hello, who doesn't listen.
Hi, Ryan, who doesn't listen.
Ironically, the PCs have actually put our country into further debt than any other party in history, and consistently do so every time they're voted in.
It's because they cut taxes but then they don't find a way of replacing that income.
Right. And then the Liberals or the NDP or whoever gets in after them are blamed for what they've done. So this is if we just look at a fucking track record, I want to keep the PCs out of power. I just do. And I've been told, and it kind of makes sense, that if the NDP and the Liberals joined fucking powers, if they just put their differences aside and said, look, we're not going to agree on everything, but if we join forces and become one mega party, the PCs will never again gain control. Ever.
But that depends, though, because you go out west and the Liberal Party doesn't have huge influence. You go to Alberta and the NDP is the main opposition.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
But what I mean is that if they joined, they would alienate them from... It's a very Canada's a
Well, don't
huge...
call them Liberal. Don't call them NDP. Call them something else. Just join.
Yeah, but the point is if they join forces with the Liberals, it would change how they're perceived by some of their core voters and vice versa.
I mean, depending on how they advertise this, how they market themselves.
And you might get a lot of people who are centrist in the Liberal Party who go to the Conservatives because they think that the NDP is going to influence too far to the left.
Maybe.
So, it is... It's complicated and the thing, Canada's like a patchwork of so many different communities with different like sources of the main generators of the economy and things. It's so like you're always going to get. I like parliamentary systems where you have lots of different parties, so it's not a kind of a binary choice between this color or this color. It's you have. So during the pandemic, the Liberals have had to work with the NDP, and the NDP have influenced the legislation that's gone through and the programs that have gone through to support people during the pandemic. Because they needed their support, they had to work together on it. So even though they weren't part of the same party, they were able to have influence over stuff. Even though they were the third largest party, the Liberals had to work with them to pass things.
I mean, that's great that it encourages that sort of behavior, but I still thoroughly believe deep down that the system is broken and needs to be just a huge reform from beginning to end. Like,
yeah, well, I think like they were supposed to bring an AV, like the new voting, where it's not first past the post,
right, which they were supposed to bring in. They were supposed to bring in, and they didn't do it. In fact, they promised they would, and then they got voted in, and then they realized, if we actually change the system to do that, we will lose. Yeah. And so they stopped. Which, okay, look, I get it. It's simple math. If we do what we said we'd promise, then we'll lose. Let's not do that thing. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, golly, Jesse, I've got some great news. We've had a fresh delivery from the ad man.
Gee whiz, Reese. Really? From the ad man?
Smell them. They're fresh.
Ads.
Can we talk about our topic now?
Yes, real briefly, I want to say this one thing.
Okay,
which is the way our system currently works, and not just Canada, but the States, especially the States. And I've said this, it's akin to a fucking wrestling match. Okay? It's hero worship and vilification. And this is the biggest fucking problem we have. Okay, is attaching ideas to people and then vilifying that person or hero worshiping that person. Okay, worshiping that person. And it's wrong on so many levels because this brings in the idea of attaching your worth to a belief in a person, not the concepts behind. So I think how much different would our system be if there were no people attached to parties? If it was, okay, this year we've got Party Circle, we've got Party Square, and we've got Party Triangle. In the past, Party Circle promised to do these things, and their track record for their promises is 32%. And these are the things that they've said they did and would do. In the past, Party Square promised these things, and they have a success record of 67% of going through with the things that they promised to do. And Party Circle has a success record of 49%, and these are the things that they promised to do and did. These are the promises that all these parties are now doing. Look at what they did in the past. Look at what they're now promising. We're not putting a name. We're not putting any faces. It's Party Circle, Square, and Triangle. This is their track records. This is what they're promising. No, seriously, make it boring as fuck. Make it statistical, make it data analysis, okay? And that's it.
There's nothing stopping, you want that kind of data. You just, it's interesting,
No, but if that's all they're not allowed legally, they're not allowed putting down other parties to promote themselves.
But you don't, I guess, even regardless of reforming the system in the way where it's kind of that blind, that information is available. You can see how each MP has voted on each issue.
Sure, it's available. But you're asking the average disengaged voter to dig that up themselves. No. That's not going to happen because it hasn't been happening.
But my point is, rather than journalists covering buses with people smiling on the side and polls, it'd be great if they did. They were like, great, we're going to get all the data and we're going to show you which individual person in each riding did what and how they voted and which party,
It would be great, but that's not how it happens. And it's not going to be how it continues to happen because it's about hero worship and vilification. And that's what people are covering. And that's what gets ratings. And that's what keep people watching. And that's what
You should just leave it to
numbers and
you should
views and
just-
likes and comments.
You should just let an algorithm choose.
Fucking hell.
That'd be easier. All hail the algorithm, for it decides our leader.
Anyway, that's my
Good.
That's
So,
my comment.
so go and vote. Have you decided who you're going to vote for?
No, I haven't.
You'll probably decide when you're in the booth.
No, I'm gonna look up the NDP's platform. I'm gonna look up the Liberals' platform. I'm just gonna see what they have to say. Honestly, I'm gonna do the same thing that I did for the provincial election, which is gonna look up their platform on environmental changes and honest to God, the NDP is probably gonna have a higher higher expectations for helping the environment than the Liberals. I don't know, man. I don't know. Honest to God, I still don't think it fucking matters. I really don't. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You should do it.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I just don't think it fucking
But even if
I
it
just don't
pays
think
off,
matters.
even if your choice pays off in 15 years' time, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Even if the butterfly effect of your vote takes that long to take into effect, you're still going to be here in 15 years, probably.
I hope.
You seem pretty healthy.
Keto, buddy. I don't know who I'm going to vote for, but I will tell you tomorrow during our live stream who I voted for.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh, there you go.
Kevin, tickling their fancy, getting them to come and turn up to our live stream. Good work.
Thanks.
Can I share a clip with you?
Yes, this has been a very long rant to get into the beginning of our topic.
Yeah. If in 100 years, if we lived 100 years in the future and we were setting this podcast up, I believe this would be the moment from this election that we would talk about in a funny episode.
Say that again.
Say, we look back at historical events.
I think we could easily live to 120 years old, 140 years old. I think that's.
I don't want to. I'd be
Why
tired.
not?
I'd be tired.
That'd be great.
I'd have run out of giving a fuck by then. So, but I think I'm going to make it to 80 tops. But
with that attitude, sure.
And I'm fine with that. No, but my point is, if we look back 100 years ago and we tell funny stories about stuff that happened in the past on our show. Sometimes we do contemporary stuff too. I think this moment will be the thing that people remember, like a fuddle duddle or
with Jesse choosing to vote.
No. This clip I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay.
So this is Justin Trudeau. On the campaign trail, and somebody shouts something very nasty to him about his wife.
Wow.
So that was an angry man who shouted.
What did he shout? I couldn't hear it. Can you play it again?
They beeped it. He was basically calling Justin Trudeau's wife Sophie a whore.
Wow.
Which is not nice.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
And this angry man starts shouting, heckling, calling him a chicken shit and telling him he needs to...
He's huge, too.
He's a giant man.
He's giant.
Giant man with muscles.
Now, the title of the video...
Isn't there a hospital you should be going to bother right now?
What a retort.
Oh, Justin, that was A, good.
That was good. That was
B, uncalled for. As the Prime Minister of Canada, man, he should have a little bit more restraint.
Look how composed he is, though. He is very composed.
Isn't there a hospital you should be going to bother right now?
I'm on public property.
In the States, this man would be taken away by private security.
No, in the States, this man would be an anchor on Fox News the day after.
Oh my God, he totally fucking would be.
He'd be a hero. He'd make $1 million. He'd be sponsored by like Black Rifle Coffee and all those right-wing brands, and he'd be a hero.
Right. Yeah.
And you saying, "Hey, I'm on public property."
Isn't there a hospital you should be bothering right now? That's amazing.
It was a great line.
It was a great line, but like, come on, man. Justin,
but he called his wife a whore.
Again,
it's not very.
If you're just a regular person, that was a great retort. He's the Prime Minister of fucking Canada, man. Have some restraint. Okay.
Yeah, but in fairness to him,
You're teaching people to shout back angrily at people shouting angrily at you. This is not constructive. We've talked about this before. It isn't. It's not. It's a great retort. It's a fun line to say back, and it makes our show really fun, but it's not what we should be teaching people how to respond.
But I would like to counter that with, we talk all the time about how politicians need to be human. And if he just stood there and just smiled and waved, we would accuse him of being too polished and not reacting like a human. Why the fuck didn't he say anything? To that man who called his wife a whore, it was a horrible thing to say, and it's misogynistic. And
I'm not
mean.
saying he shouldn't have said anything.
No, but what I'm saying is
that's not what I'm saying.
I actually like him more for doing it because he was human, and somebody said something, and he didn't swear, and he actually had a funny line.
You know what? No, if he had swore, I would have liked him even more because that's very human.
Fuck off, you big bag of balls. I would have loved if he said that.
Wow, isn't there a hospital you should be bothering right now? That's a great line. That's a great line.
It was, but also,
but like again, it's just.
But I just like to say he apologized afterwards. His line was,
Did he apologize afterwards?
Yeah, he said.
He did.
He said.
What did he say?
He said a heckler said something misogynistic about my wife. He went after my family, and I lost my temper, and I'm sorry for what I said.
Oh well, fucking A, that's awesome.
So,
oh no, that's great.
So he didn't like, you know.
Okay, no, that's, you know what? There's the humanity.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't, yeah. And
he says, I think Canadians know I have pretty thick skin and I'm able to take all sorts of different abuse, especially if it means that someone is not somewhere else hassling frontline health workers or vulnerable Canadians. But he went after my family. He said hateful, misogynistic things about my wife. My family believes deeply in what I'm doing and put up with an awful lot, but everyone has limits, and I will always be there to try and push back when someone crosses these lines.
Oh, you know what? That's a reasonable response. I'll give him that. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll take it back. Fuck it. Good on you, Trudeau.
So, like I said, if in 100 years' time our great-grandchildren are doing this podcast, somehow they inherit.
I mean, he went a step back.
Exists.
His father would have choked a bitch, you know, like as he did.
His father would have pulled out a 9mm handgun and just.
Do you not
I'm
remember?
joking. Just wasted him.
Wait, are we talking Fidel Castro?
Oh, you're talking about Fidel Castro?
No, I'm not talking about Fidel Castro. I'm talking about.
I was talking about Fidel Castro.
You were talking about Fidel. Oh my god, that guy was terrifyingly huge, though.
He was a really big guy, and
very big guy,
but also
like huge. Just goes to the gym and has angry thoughts every day.
He's got a picture of Justin Trudeau on a punch bag, and he was waiting that his whole life. I guarantee that. Yeah, I mean. I kind of feel like I like Justin Trudeau more for his response. And yes, it was like, it sounds like something somebody would say on a podcast or someone would say in a very human way.
No, you know what it sounds like? You know what it sounds like? It sounds like something someone would think of to say like afterwards. An hour later.
Yeah. Shit, I should have said that afterwards.
Yeah, but he actually came up with it. Yeah.
He actually did it.
He did it. Yeah,
he actually did it there and then.
I'm a a little jealous that like he has the
bloody quick.
Yeah, it was very quick.
That was very quick.
That's good.
And for me, this is the most historically important moment from the entire election moving forward.
It reminds me of Rumble in the Bronx, a scene from Rumble in the Bronx when a Jackie Chan's really films. Okay,
it's a great film.
It's a great film.
Is that the one with the sports car? And the
no, that was one of the other ones.
I show my kids those action sequences and they can't believe what he can do.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, Jackie Chan's incredible. But like there's a scene in Rumble in the Bronx where he's fighting this gang of people in this warehouse and he's not being aggressive, he's being defensive. They're coming at him and he's like defending himself. He's smacking them around, but he's not trying to smack them around. He's like he's in a fight but doesn't want to continue the fight. That's Jackie Chan style. It's all very self-defensive. Anyway, he beats them all up, but he doesn't like in Jackie Stan style. You know what I mean, right?
Jackie Stan.
Yeah, his cousin.
My favorite country.
Jackie Stan.
Are you saying that Justin Trudeau is the Jackie Chan of Canadian politics?
No,
because I hope you are.
No, I wish. No, I'm saying the opposite. So at the end of the fight, after he had kind of like he didn't beat the shit out of everyone, he just kind of like
he used their momentum to beat them up.
He used their momentum to kind of beat them up to a point where he stopped the fight, right? And then everyone was kind of exhausted, and when they all kind of like were out of breath, and Jackie was about to leave, and I'm going to misquote him here. He's like, I hope we can all sit down and have tea someday. And the bad guys in the scene were like, do you mean that? Did he mean that? Right? Like they were taken aback, right? Because he didn't want to fight. He wanted everyone to get along. And that was thrown into an action movie, an action comedy movie. And it was so kind of deep, right? When you watch that movie for the first time, like,
especially when you watch like Rambo and all those films, where
right?
it's just like,
yeah. And so that's what I
that was a
think.
machine gun, by the way, not a sprinkler.
So part of me is like really kind of happy that Justin Trudeau came up with that retort that we'd all think of an hour later. Right? Like,
if it was an action movie,
right?
it would be a well written line, well delivered in time.
Yeah. Right. In reality, it would be like, how do we diffuse this angry person and listen to them, so that we can sit down for tea? It would be the ideal choice, because
so rather than like throwing something back, like the comment that you did, you'd rather him go do something that would embrace that person.
Not embrace, but allow, because like if this person,
but he said something really horrible about his wife.
Yeah, it was awful, and someone has to be the better man.
Yeah, well, his line was better, so he won.
I can't argue with that.
So he did win. I'm not saying he was mature, but he won that one.
Point adjusted.
But it's just, but yeah. So
I'm just gonna really embrace this whole wrestling mentality, like wrestle matchment for politics. Fuck it, yeah, let's do.
Exactly.
Just do it. Yeah.
Nobody's heckled Aaron O'Toole. No one's heckled Aaron O'Toole. Aaron O'Toole.
We heckle him.
Well, not to his face.
I really want to taste his banana bread. Oh, that sounds really sexual. I'll take it back.
I really want to taste his banana bread. You were talking about how much you liked his guns on the front cover of his plan.
He had huge guns, man.
He had huge guns, and you just
I just want to taste his banana bread.
Just soft, moist banana bread.
Fucking hell! Stop.
Still warm from the oven.
Stop! Oh my god!
What kind of icing's drizzled on it, Jesse?
I just want Aaron to cradle me and rock me back and forth like a baby.
Telling you everything's going to be all right.
The smell of fresh banana bread in the air.
And you go, he's just whispering in your ear, did you dream that Stephen Harper was in the house again? Don't worry, I'll never invite him around again. And then you fall back asleep and you go downstairs and Stephen Harper's just sat there watching TV and he just looks at him and goes,
The Price is Right.
Yeah, just goes, I know he doesn't like me being here. Did you lie to him again? And Aaron's like, I just wanted him to go to sleep. And you can never tell him about this.
Oh god, I feel like this is like an 80s sitcom. Aaron and Friends.
And then Stephen Harper just goes, just go and cook me some fucking food. Shut your face.
Get this 80s sitcom.
Jesse wakes up again.
Turn for the
Jesse
worst.
wakes up again. I'll tell you so you can go and sort it out. I'm going to watch this game.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah, thank you.
Aaron O'Toole and Stephen Harper in an abusive relationship and you're their child. Oh my God. It's been a long election campaign.
Yeah. You're telling me. Jesus Christ. Aaron and Friends. Aaron and Friends. Harper!
Everybody loves Aaron.
Well, this has been fun.
Do you know what? It's funny. This is the first political podcast, the first time we got to cover an election.
Yeah.
And now tomorrow you have to vote, and then your vote doesn't count unless you watch our live stream, which is sad. But
that's how it works.
How the world
It's
works.
just how the world works, yeah.
But it counts as a spoiled ballot. So
yeah, you have to come to just go to CanadianPoliticsIsBoring.com.
We're there on the front page.
Yeah, you can watch us live.
We may or may not be featuring wonderful products by generous people. If
Who
not,
knows?
and just make up my own products.
Right, yeah. Or services. Just email us and tell us the company that you have and we'll talk about it. Just because send us $1.
We just want free stuff.
We just want free shit.
Like influencers ring up hotels saying, and he said hospitals. Influencers ring up
We want to
hospitals.
stay at your hospital.
I want,
I want the best bed in the hallway with dim lighting.
can I
Some
get
Jell-O.
can I get a free? Can you remove my appendix for free? If you do, I'll get you a ton of likes. No, I was going to say they ring up hotel. I said it again. They ring up hotels. Why do I confuse a hospital with a hotel? They're very different.
Remind me never to go on vacation with you, man.
I've got my own room. I'm not even on a ward. It's wonderful. I can see the ocean from the window. No, my point is that influencers ring up hotels and they say, hey, I'll do free, let me stay for free and all this kind of thing. And we're just sinking to that level. I wouldn't call us influencers, but I would say just free stuff. Just because, you know, the best things in life are free, especially stuff.
Right. So, yes, I agree. Free stuff is great. We want free stuff. So the call to action is if you have a company of any type whatsoever, just scroll down in the show notes of whatever podcast platform you're listening to in our show notes that we've typed up, a little description, and there's a little link to email us. Just click that link and it'll just send us right to an email and you can just tell us about your company.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I would just like
we'll start a conversation with you about how we can talk about your company.
And as someone who can't vote, even though I live here and I have 2 businesses and I pay taxes and my kids use the schools and we all use the health system, I've been a complete passenger in this whole election campaign and reliant on Canadians voting.
Right.
Maybe I'll be able to vote in the next election. I'm getting close to being able to be a citizen and everything. So, but
I feel for you, man. Like
we've been talking all about you and your.
That's important.
I know, but I'm democratically blocked from taking part.
I had a girlfriend, Ariel, in Calgary, like 13, 12 years ago, something like that. And
13, 12 years ago.
Yeah. And she was from Texas and she loved Canada. She was trying to become like a permanent resident and citizen. And it was taking so much time, so much effort, so much money, and so many lawyers, and she couldn't do it. And the number one thing she wanted is for people to vote.
Yeah.
Right. And it was really quite eye-opening because someone who's, been a Canadian my entire life, I guess I just took this for granted. Right.
Yeah.
and so it's eye-opening when someone like of your stature mentions that.
Well, and also as well, like I come from the UK where there's very class-based tribalism, and the UK is in a really weird place with Brexit and everything at the moment. And then the US is the US and they do all this stuff. And then you look around the world and there's authoritarianism's on the rise and there's lots of crazy stuff going on. You look at Brazil, you look at Hungary, these countries where populist right-wing governments are taking over. The world is in a weird place. And Canada, despite some of the stuff we've covered, is still a very civil society.
I mean, if you're speaking comparatively, then yes.
Well, that's the only way you can speak, because we don't live in a perfect world. And I would say, I love this.
I don't think it's the only way you can speak.
Well, you can only talk comparative to other things. In a sense of,
I mean, that's what comparative means. Like,
yeah, but that's what I mean. You can only talk about Canada as a democratic society in comparison to other democratic societies.
Sure.
You can't compare it to a perfect democratic society because they don't exist.
Sure.
And will they ever exist? We don't know. But I would just like to say that it's an awesome country. And I like how nice and civil people are and how sensible everybody is.
Comparatively speaking.
Because, yes, because the rest of the world might be on fire, but people in Canada are still nice.
It's true.
And I think people still vote.
I think we could be nicer.
I know, but I think people still, as much as there's been dark stuff and we've covered like the far right and all the other stuff that's going on, and I still think that most people are going to vote out of the goodness of their heart, not just selfishly for things that interest them, but because they want Canada to be better. And I would like people to go out and use that when they vote.
If you could vote, who would you vote for? Unless you want to keep that private.
I don't know. I'm still so new here. I don't feel invested emotionally to any of the parties. Whereas if it was in the UK, I'd know I'd vote for within a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because of who I am and where I come from, because of that tribalism. You just kind of, where you grow up and how you were raised and which class you're part of, you just vote for them because they represent your community. But I very much don't know. I'm still, that's my journey, is working out who would I support, who would I vote for.
What would you do if you could vote tomorrow? What would have been your process to inform yourself? Here,
I
I'm
would look-
interviewing you. Look at this.
I would not look at the party and the leader. I wouldn't judge it based on who's going to be prime minister. I would judge it based on who's going to be representing this area. What kind of person are they like?
What do you mean?
The candidate in this riding.
Okay.
I would be like, who's going to represent this riding? Because that's the only say we do have is who's going to fill that chair.
Right. Oh, that's smart.
So
like
I
that.
probably look at it and I'd look at the individual platforms and try and find if any of the debates were online, and I can rewatch the videos, and I base it on that because that's the only say I can see on a micro level. That
Right.
We have that. That would tend to be how I would vote.
Okay. No, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I'm going to go do the same. Thanks.
Okay, well, go and vote. See you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow night on a live stream.
So your call to action is
Live stream tomorrow night.
number one.
Vote.
Hold on. Number one is click on our email in our show notes and send us an email. Say hi, tell us about your company, or tell us about your company. A. B. Ask for a personalized ringtone. C. Make sure to go vote tomorrow. And D. Afterwards, come and check us out at CanadianPoliticsIsBoring@gmail.com. No, not
CanadianPoliticsIsBoring.com, the website.
.com.
Don't come and view us on a website, on an email. On
No,
the web.
CanadianPoliticsIsBoring.com, or just our YouTube channel and watch us live coverage. Those 4 things, there you go. Those are your call to action. It's a lot of things to do. We know. Just go fucking do them. Just
do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. What
Just
else?
do it.
Have you got something better to do?
Yeah, seriously. What are you going to do?
Eat a yogurt
Like, come on.
or a yogurt.
Or yeah. What?
I don't know, scratch your ass for another 3 hours while watching New Girl.
I mean, that does sound fun.
That's what you're going to do next.
Yeah. Thanks for listening and sticking us in your ear holes. We will see you tomorrow. We love you all so much. That's it. I think we're done.
Cool. I'm going to go see my puppy.
I'm going to go home and watch New Girl and scratch my ass for 3 hours.
Woo!
Bye.